Let's speak to the Mkhonto weSizwe Party's national spokesperson now, Nhlamulo Ndlela. Nhlamulo, good evening to you. You've all heard what the president has had to say. He's got the support of Senzo Mchunu. Does he have yours?
No, this is the most disappointing, we must say, statement, State of the Nation address that we've ever come across in this new dispensation. The president had an opportunity here to be decisive and be bold. Instead, he goes and puts a minister on special leave. Since when are ministers appointed within the framework of the Labour Relations Act? Ministers are politically appointed. So to go and put a minister on special leave, what does that mean? Ministers, it's either you hire or you fire them. Now, we have a situation now where this president, then, because he is derelict in his duties in light of this statement that he has made, knows very well that there's prima facie evidence. I mean, if you look at those political killings, there were 612 dockets, 436 arrested and charged, which demonstrates that this political killings task team has been effective. General Mkhwanazi also then says that the judiciary is implicated, but yet the president wants to then involve the judiciary in forming this commission of inquiry. Commission of inquiry, which will then supposedly yield reports on an interim basis, ad hoc basis, and then later in 6 months submitted to the speaker. This is a clear indication that this president is, quite honest, a political and more so a constitutional delinquent.
Two quick
he has
ones,
failed in his duties, and quite honestly, this is the worst president we've ever had in this country, who cannot protect South Africans from the underworld and from corrupt activities. And the mere fact that we even have parliamentarians who are lawmakers who are actually even implicated in this is even worse. And I'm sure chances are they are within the GNU.
I want to ask you two quick questions then. Firstly, it was a national address, but not a State of the Nation address. But on to the issue of the acting Deputy Chief Justice Madlanga, who will now chair this Judicial Commission of Inquiry. He is to retire in a matter of weeks. But if you're not, and he's not been implicated, at least not directly, in the allegations made by Commissioner Mkhwanazi. If not a retiring member of the judiciary, who would have been more appropriate to chair this process? Where would that person have had to come from? Which structure would have convinced you that it is indeed a credible investigation, given ultimately that Mkhwanazi's allegations are that the people involved in this web spread across the law enforcement space and even the judiciary?
Well, quite honestly, this statement is reflective of the state of this nation, quite honestly. In as much as they want to refer to it as a State of the Nation address, but it is a reflection of the state of this country, and therefore even more so deep state. The reality is the following. We have allegations here, and more so prima facie evidence that has been presented. We as Mkhonto weSizwe have continuously called that the judiciary we need to actually get declarations from the register of all judges. And we need to understand exactly what has been their activities to date in terms of their disclosures. One. Two, if you're going to call for a commission of inquiry, which we have said categorically, it's just going to be a waste of time. 64 South Africans being murdered on a daily basis. Our children are suffering and our communities are plagued by the scourge of drugs. And you're telling us as a president that you only want to respond to us in 6 months' time. We're saying there is 436 people that have been charged and arrested. Let the police do their work. This minister must also be charged. And also, why does he take a decision only on the minister and then leave out the Sibiya, General Sibiya, who also has archived 121 cases and dockets, of which 54 of those are politically related political killings cases. So we're saying, let's put away with these commission of inquiries that yield nothing for South Africans, but more so become laundromats for them to clean up their political inflated decisions. That we continue to South Africa continued. Pala, by the way, was a cover-up. Wally Roeder, the president himself, covered up a similar situation. So what do you expect from this president when even a Section 89 report from Judge Ngobo demonstrates that this president was implicated, he's got a case to answer to? Has he come forward? Have you even seen Ramaphosa in a case, in a court? No. Instead, the NPA has quite honestly been faffing around in terms of taking decisions. And again, what do you expect? The NPA itself is the most ineffective. So judicial of inquiries, we're saying no. Which judicial inquiry have you ever seen yielding any convictions to date? Give me one.
You don't want a judicial commission of inquiry. You don't trust the judiciary. You want an SAPS investigation. Yet there are people who remain in post in the SAPS who are possibly linked to this. You say the president basically is derelict in his duties following the address tonight. What will you as the MKP do about it then?
Well, we're the official opposition. One of the things that we'll do, obviously, we'll have to have a discussion. I can't just pronounce on that until the leadership have a discussion on that, and we decide exactly how we go about this. But this, what you've seen, are clear ingredients for a vote of no confidence in the president, where he was supposed to take South Africans into confidence and be decisive and bold, and ensure that South Africans can then go to bed tonight knowing very well that we have a country whose security apparatus, it's steadfast, and it has not, and ensure that this government, quite honestly, based on these actions, has eroded the trust of the people. So today, South Africans again are going to wake up at the same risk, waiting for third factor, is what you do call it, which is going to be just documents that are going to be, put together, thuds of documents that are going to be put together that are not going to yield anything in terms of securing South Africans on a daily basis. So we're saying, as Mkhonto with Caesar, this is a makeup, quite honestly, more than anything else, to call upon that this president must step down, and more so that General Mkhonto must act swiftly and arrest all of them. Because we know also from what we've heard that the president is implicated. Let's not forget that what you're seeing here is political patronage. Political patronage, as I close off, political patronage on the basis that don't forget that Mkhonto has got the Phala IPID report, and he has never wanted to actually present it to Parliament and make it public. So this is just more than anything else political patronage. And Ramaphosa knows that if he was to fire him and not so-called suspend him with special leave or whatever, they're not even suspending special leave. We don't even know what that means. But the fact of the matter is we know that he realizes that this is going to seriously implicate him and put him in a serious bad position if that report comes out. And the person who's got that report in hand is one and only Senzo Mkhonto.
And you're referring to that IPID report that looked into the stealing of money proceeds from a game auction at the president's Phala farm, classified by Minister Senzo Mkhonto. He did say that people should apply to have that declassified, but we'll leave it there for now. Mhlamulo, I'm sure you and I will be speaking a lot more over the coming days as we watch the process. Thank you very much for speaking to us this evening.